come on today's video.
And it's been a great 2 days, 3 days, seeing different departments, different areas of the Charente. The reason for the move is that we've just decided that where the politics are going is not where we see it. We don't see a viable option to bring children up in the UK anymore. Blue card allows me to work. So what that means is Gemma technically won't need a visa because she'll come over as family, and we are engaging support helper that's going to deal with the whole visa process for us whilst we're selling our house and looking houses over here. I've got to say about the French culture, it's really nice when you go into a shop and everybody speaks to everybody. You're not too busy. And I've seen that all across France. I mean,
But before any of that, roll intro. Bonjour les poules, ça va? Vous avez faim? D'accord.
À table, bon appétit.
Morning. From Département 16, La Charente, the northernmost tip of the southwest of France. Yeah, Pete's mind's in a bit of a quandary. He likes the house. Wait, he likes both houses, but the land on property 2 is suitable for horses. But there is an issue on the amount of land on property 1. Anyway, to see the estate agent this morning to go and find out what the score is with the amount of land. Then I'll be interviewing Pete. So, whatever next is, let's do that. Wally, come on, good boy. Come on. It's like you've done this before, Pete.
just a few times.
Raining. Oh. Copyright strike. Raining. Absolutely no need for these. But it'd be rude not to. Too slow-mo. On y va.
On y va.
We are back now from it's our third viewing of the house in Mano. I'm assuming it's pronounced Mano without the T. You just never know. But yeah, so it was a bit of a last minute trip over for you, Pete.
Yeah.
So tell us how that came about.
So effectively we're talking, as you know, Rob, we've been talking for a while. Had a fair few calls and WhatsApp calls, and many thanks to you and Lisa and family for accommodating. And we saw a couple of houses online, and we were talking to you, and you said, why don't you come over? And I just said to work, I'm taking some emergency leave, booked the nearest plane out, even though it was a couple of hours drive down country, and then got here as quick as I possibly could. And it's been a great 2 days, 3 days, seeing different departments, different areas of the Charente, and certainly working out what we do, and more importantly, what we don't want to do.
Exactly. So I think people will be interested to know about who you are, your wife, whether you've got any children, what your background is, what you're going to be doing for a job. I know that's a loaded question, but go.
No, sure. Okay, let's unpack all that. So myself and my wife, no children, animals more than children. So we've got horses, dogs, cats, pretty much a menagerie at home. And the reason for the move is that we've just decided that, I think a lot of people probably resonate with this, and hopefully it won't cause any issue, but where the politics are going is not where we see it. We don't see a viable option to bring children up in the UK anymore. It's certainly, in my opinion, not as safe as it used to be when I was growing up. And I'd also say that the bills and the costs are extortionate. I mean, I work for National Grid through a French company, through a third company, through Vinci. And we work very hard and we get paid very well, but even so, the bills are tight. So my wife, Gemma, is a nurse in the NHS, and she is coming to the point of where there's a crossroads coming, and it's a question of which way do you turn. And for us, it's a case of we got married last year, and we've decided that family, etc., is now a priority, as well as being able to be financially secure.
So you've had permission from your company,
Yes.
which is a French company,
Yes.
to come and work out in France remotely.
Yes, that's correct. So our visa isn't going to be the same as yours and Lisa's visa, Rob, or the family. So our visa is going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, a blue card visa. The difference in that is a blue card allows me to work because of the seniority in the company, and also because of the various things that I've done in the past, being part of the ex-military as well. So what that means is Gemma technically won't need a visa because she'll come over as family. So she can work as well, which is actually great to hear. And we are engaging a visa support helper that's going to deal with the whole visa process for us whilst we're selling our house and looking houses over here. Because just with work, managing the horse, managing the dogs, everything else that comes along with the move, it's just too much.
And this is where the YouTube community is great, because you got the details from that visa lady, and I'm pretty sure she's got a proper title.
She's Sarah Vincent. Yeah.
No, I meant like a proper work title as opposed to visa lady.
Well, I don't know. I just call her the visa lady because she's got a 99% record of successful visas. So I'll take that as a win.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so we got her details from Stephen and Andrea, who we interviewed a few weeks ago, who have come over from Shetland in Scotland. So that's where the YouTube community really helps out in terms of the networking. So we've seen a couple of houses.
Yes.
That was shown on Friday's video, which was yesterday. So talk me through those and your thought processes.
So there's two. We've been looking for property since let's say in November, shortly after we came back from our honeymoon. Because on our honeymoon we decided that the stress and the pressure. We were down for 3 weeks. About a week and a half in, I was just starting to decompress, and we just said, "This is enough. This is silly." So we started looking almost immediately when we came back and said, well, is this something we really want to do? Let's talk to you, let's talk to Lisa, which is where we started talking about it. Yeah. And let's cross off the impossibilities, and then what is left is possible. However mad it seems, it is possible. So I came down, got three properties shortlisted. Unfortunately, one, as everybody knows, it's got sold to some very lucky person. There was one in Mano, or Manot, depending on how you pronounce it. I'm going to go with Manot, just to be different. So brilliant property, fantastic. Got a gîte complex on it attached to it. One minor problem is they hadn't calculated the area of land correctly.
Yeah.
And even after we all walked it yesterday, there just wasn't enough land terrain to justify the cost and B, what we wanted to do. So it's we went back today so I could see the internals of the house. Yes, there's work needed doing. I don't mind doing work, but there's a trade-off between doing work and having the land and what we want to do and use it for, which is horses. And
so you want at least 1.5 hectares?
Yeah, ideally. So we're looking for stuff so Gemma can do her garden-y thing. Personally, I just go with grass, much easier. Then we can also have the horses on, and then we can rest and manage the land like we do at our home our farm at home properly. So we've got chance to be part of the rural community and also support and actually have a life apart from just come home, eat, sleep, work, repeat.
Yeah.
And that's the basis of it. So that's the first property. Second property was the one that you very nicely drove us all the way up country, Rob, 50 minutes. To Deserve, fantastic property, a huge amount of curb appeal. Completely different to the one in the Charente. This one, the house was brilliant, cluttered, lots of small little rooms which you could just rejig by not actually changing the rooms themselves, doing physical work. It was just more what you'd use the room for. The land, amazing. I mean, I don't think I've seen as good land as that for a long time. The barns were huge. I mean, it was just a huge complex, and it was lovely and private. It's almost like a courtyard effect. Once you shut the gates, you were in your own plot, and that had about just under 5 acres with it. So very, very nice indeed. Minor problem with that one is, and we're still considering it, possible, is that the beams were about my chest height when you go upstairs, and being 6'7", aka Jack Reacher,
Taller than.
yeah, taller than Jack Reacher, I would be bending in half for 3/4 of my life, and/or swearing profusely when I hit the beams with my head.
And we spoke about this last night, thinking, right, you've got to future-proof your life, and although Pete might be able to do it as a 38-year-old man now, but you've got back injuries from your time in Afghanistan. Fast forward 20 years and constantly bending forward, that's going to be a huge issue.
It'd be crippling. It'd be absolutely crippling. So there is a possibility there. We might explore that a little bit further, maybe with a structural architect or something like that, a structural engineer. But it's a but, if that makes sense. That's the best way I can describe it. It's not perfect, but I appreciate you're never going to find the perfect property.
And we found it difficult today because we continued looking online for properties to really filter down exactly what you need in terms of acreage and habitable living space and stuff. So, and it just came down to Lisa just putting into Google houses for sale in the Charente with 12,000 plus. And so we've found one.
Yeah, you have. It's an absolute blinder. It's on with an independent. I'm not saying any more than that because nobody's taking this one. Big hint there, ladies and gents. But yeah, you and Lisa are very, very kindly to go and see it on Thursday. Jeudi matin pour moi. So fingers crossed, it's what we want. It's certainly in the right location. Check, in the Charente, not too far away from you. Sorry, Rob, we're going to be regular drinking buddies.
That's absolutely fine.
Perfect land, looking like it for the horses and Gemma, not my side of things. And then a large enough house that still needs some personalisation put into it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the best way to describe it, what we've seen and read online. So yeah, I mean, it's ticking the boxes, certainly. There's a lot of boxes ticked on that. It's just a case of, again, are the pictures deceiving? When you go upstairs, am I going to garrot myself on a 4 foot wide beam? So
in terms of you, you will be looking to have a mortgage with a French company as well. So what's the process around that? How easy is that to navigate?
So for me, it's easier because if I get the blue card, it kind of all falls into place straight away. Because unlike others where you have to go, you have to wait periods of time to get your health insurance, your health cards and all the rest of that, mine's automatic. Obviously, the difference is mine will be potentially through Paris, whereas yours will be all through a local prefecture.
Yeah.
But it means I can access things quicker and at a much more expedited time frame. In terms of a mortgage in France, it shouldn't be too difficult because obviously my work contract is already novated to French. And that means that everything's already written in euro, so any French bank can look at it and say, okay, you've got this, you've got that, tick, 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 boom. And we're not going to be breaking the bank. So it's not like, for example, I want to borrow €1 million. I mean, I'd like to. I think we'd all like to. So there are nuances. Yes, it could be potentially slower going through Paris, but that's again why we've engaged Sarah. And she's also a French military wife, and she understands, Rob, how we just want things done and we want it done right, dotted and crossed and once and only. Thank you very much.
And I think it's, I'm not sure whether I'm jumping ahead in terms of the questions, but so in terms of your socio-economical status back in the UK, where you're both earning good money, you coming over to France earning the same money and Gemma not working, you're substantially better off.
Hugely financially better off. And if we just look at the finances alone, the finances are massively better off, just from the difference in bills and all the rest of that. Also, we don't need 2 or 3 cars, we can use one. Things like that add into the finances. Now, the other thing that we're much better off with is we're both going to be around more. We're both going to have that, and you probably understand this more than anybody, Rob, that you have that time together more rather than, again, we eat, sleep, repeat, work, eat, sleep, repeat, work, sort of monotony. Yes, okay, I'll still be working. That is a given. But we're also going to, Gemma may well decide to work because on my blue card she can. But even with that out the door, straight off the bat, Gemma not working, we're financially better and time-wise better off.
Yeah, exactly.
And that means the relationship gets better as well.
Exactly. So we all know that France is not a culture on really tipping.
Yes.
So we went to a lovely restaurant, our local restaurant yesterday, where we you had the menu gourmand. Oh, you had the you ate what? We think that's how it's pronounced. So
everybody's out there, please tell us if it's correct. So I'm saying andouillette.
And I'm thinking because it's got two L's, you might pronounce the L's as Y. Andouillette. Peut-être je sais pas. But so basically, that is basically intestine and colon.
Yeah, it was good.
And you knew that.
Yeah, you've got to try it, haven't you?
So you had 7 slices.
Yeah, I managed to eat through 5 of them.
You managed to eat through 5.
Yeah.
And what stopped you eating the other 2?
I was just not keen on it. It was, not for me. I mean, look, I'll try anything. Snails, sure.
Not frog's legs.
Not frog's legs, definitely not. And I'm now going to add andouillette, or however you pronounce it, to that list. It's great to try it. And I think when you're coming to somewhere new, you should try the cuisine. You should try things. And I absolutely get, Rob, why you don't want to.
So Pete was so impressed with the service and the menu and the standard of food.
Brilliant night last night.
That you wanted to tip the owner.
Yes.
How much did you tip him?
Well, what I thought was a €10 note after a couple of bottles of wine and a few aperitifs was actually a €100 note. What I will say to everybody, please don't do that. Please make sure you check your notes before you give them a tip. Because I think Rob and Lisa are going to be welcome back down there anytime, day or night. He was a bit gobsmacked, as was I, when I realised it was a €100 note. But, look, was it worth it? Yes. The food was phenomenal, and it wasn't a big chain restaurant, it's just a local restaurant to you. And it was all local produce as well, which was even better. So, it's local. You couldn't get better than that in my mind. And that's one of the reasons why we want to move to France. Because, it's great, you've got all the chains and you can go out at whatever time of day or night, but we prefer to be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more kind of family orientated, even though we don't have a family, but to just spend time with each other and actually just catch up.
You want to be time rich.
Yes.
Let's jump onto the questions.
Oh, Lordy be. Okay, here we go.
They are not bad. Yeah, they are not bad.
Oh.
Right. So a question from Sue Wallace.
Yes.
I've got a question for Pete. Does his wife trust him to choose a house without her?
Oh, Sue. Does Gemma trust me to get a house without her? No. I think it's a short answer. I mean, yes, okay, I'm out here, that's not a problem. We do trust each other, absolutely, as you'd expect. But I know Lisa and Gemma and Rob as well, and myself, we've all been sending videos back. We've all been having phone calls, including late last night, when we kind of did a bit of a download dump on the properties that we'd seen. So yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, would she let me put the numbers in? If I think the numbers work, then she'd probably trust me, but probably not to buy it outright without her seeing it.
I bet if you put an offer in yesterday, before the 10-day cooling out period had expired, she would have been over.
Oh gosh, yeah, 100%. 100%. One way by hook or by crook, there'd have been some flight or train or some way, yes.
So I've got a question from Florence Victoire 6086. What do you most look forward to in France? Right, first question.
Okay, well, Florence, hi. What do I look forward to? Well, in fact, no, let me check that. What do we look forward to most in France? Slowing the pace of life down.
Yep.
Oh my word! I mean, most people that are, they're either English, American, Canadian, or anybody will understand really that specifically the UK, we work to work. There's not even work to live. We just work round the clock. I mean, even when I was been here with Rob and family, which has been amazing, I've been taking phone calls at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And
still,
I mean, it won't stop, but it will when I'm over here. So I'm looking forward to that. I get time back. So it's being time rich.
Being time rich, yeah. This is a really, really good question, actually, because I didn't know, and we did speak about it before, but because you are different in the fact that although you was working in England, you're still working for the same company in France, so your wages will be in euros now, and you'll be part of the French state system.
Yes.
Can you transfer your English UK state pension and still get it uprated every year once you settle in France? So what happens to...
Honest answer is I don't know, which is one of the reasons why I've engaged Sarah.
Yeah.
I'm not au fait with tax law. It's not my bag of tricks. Contractual law, yes. Commercials, yes. QSing, definitely. On a short answer is I don't know. I would probably expect you possibly could, because I know there's a treaty and an agreement in place with that. But as to how that looks and how that actually, the mechanism for that working, pass. So sorry, I can't answer that fully.
But that's something that you're obviously going to be looking into. So
I'll tell you what, Rob, I'll take that one away, and as soon as I get an answer, I'll come back to you.
love it. It's like being back in work. Yes, we carry forward. We'll carry that forward to the next meeting.
Yep.
Right. So a question from Stefan, who is French, and it's a So the question is because he appreciates why people from England come over to France, that it helps the French economy, it revitalises old villages and the like. So he can see a benefit in immigrants coming into France for the right reasons.
Yep.
So his question is, hi, I have a question. An increasing number of English people choose to leave England to settle abroad. I wonder what can explain this trend. Thank you for the answer. So Pete's not replying on the whole of the expat community.
No, definitely not. I'll reply as myself and my wife. Le même. Bonjour Stéphane, merci pour votre question. Je suis désolé parce que mon français n'est pas bien. En anglais. The reason I myself and my wife are looking, I will be hopefully, fingers crossed, coming to France, is threefold really. So one is the lifestyle. It's much better. The quality of life, I'm sure Rob, you and Lisa can attest this, is so much better than what we've got in the UK. I'm not knocking the UK and not knocking any country, but that's just how we feel.
We are both patriots.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, look, we both served blood, sweat and tears. But I mean, yeah, totally. For me, it's about the lifestyle first. Second, as you've heard me say already, it's time. It's being time rich. Whereas at the UK at the moment, we will literally pass each other like passing ships. So you might see each other for maybe a couple of hours just before you go to bed, and then you're in bed and it starts all over again. Look, I get that there isn't necessarily going to be a rose tinted glasses off and all the rest of that, and hopefully that translates. So making sure that you see the reality. Then the third thing for me is really about being safe, not just in terms of criminal safe, but being safe in terms of being able to voice your opinions and to also enjoy the weather and life. So again, it kind of links all three back together. For me, do I agree with the political stance of the UK? No. As a farmer, do I think it's going to harm the UK? Yes, but let's not get onto that subject because that's a completely different YouTube video.
Yeah, because Pete's got a farming background.
Yes.
So I can see it from the UK point of view and also the French point of view as well. But in terms of the French culture itself, because you have travelled France extensively,
oh, yes, totally.
So you come here with your eyes wide open. So what do you enjoy about the French culture?
I've got to say about the French culture, it's really nice. This is going to sound so simple. When you go into a shop and everybody speaks to everybody, you're not too busy. You're not on your mobile phones. Okay, in Paris, yes, that exists. In Toulouse and Bordeaux, that happens. But they still have time to speak to each other. You're still polite. You stop and have a chat with your next door neighbour. You go down to the pub and you have a drinks with various, like we did yesterday with Stephen and Andrea. And we just enjoy life. And I think that's what I like. And I've seen that all across France. I mean, I've been in and out of France. I've worked for other French companies before. And for me, France feels more of a home than the UK does. And that's been for the last 5, maybe 6 years, easily. And what I would like to say as well to Stefan, is thank you very much for your very kind words, and hopefully as expats do continue to support and help and integrate, more importantly, into your French culture, because that's what I'm doing. I mean, okay, my French isn't great, but I'm learning and I'm really pushing hard. And I've even engaged French tutors as well to support that.
Yes, and talk about French tutors. I've got my first proper French lesson in person on the 23rd of April, which I think is St. George's Day.
It is indeed.
It is. So
Very nice.
excellent. And at a cost of €10 a lesson, which is an hour-long lesson. Now that is unheard of.
That is definitely.
Because you're paying what?
I'm paying £55.
Pounds, which is probably about
70, 60,
yes,
70, somewhere in there.
euros.
But, you know, it's great. I mean, if anybody has other questions, I'm open to anything else. I mean, I'm sure, Rob, you wouldn't mind me coming on and doing some more questions and Q&A with you.
Oh, that's definitely a must. But if you've got any questions that you want to add in the comments, that you want Pete to answer, I'm pretty sure he will oblige. Or if not, we will save them up for when he comes over next. Sorry, the dog is barking out there, and it's really distracting. But we are coming to a close anyway. So thank you, Peter, for your time. Thank you, Peter, for your candidness, your honesty. You're definitely coming over to a country that will welcome you, and will continue to welcome you and Gemma. And you've definitely made the right decision.
Totally. And what I'd like to say, Rob, in closing, is a massive thank you to you, Lisa, your family, for hosting me the last couple of days. I mean, that's huge. You know, you're like a long lost mate that we've only just met. But
I know it's weird. Yeah.
And I'd also like to say a thank you to everybody on the channel that's reached out and given me and Rob bits of information of the properties to look at.
Yes.
Steve and Andrea, you're legends. That's all I can say about you. And thank you very much for lunch. And look, if anybody wants any help, if I can help, my only other advice would be don't hesitate. Just do it. Just do it.
Right. So, what day is it today?
Saturday.
Yeah. I'll be taking Pete to the airport. This part of the video has gone on for
too long.
Long enough. So don't go away. It's not the end of the video. Don't skip forward. It's only 21 seconds out of your life. But here's the night view of the
Charente.
So good afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon. Pete's back at home now. Apologies for the earlier part of the where where the mic, the new mic is better than the old mic in my opinion. It's really difficult to edit, get the sound correct. I'm sure I'll get better at some point in the future. Apologies about the obvious dyeing of the hair. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry to James Clark, who always picks me up on the beard dye and hair dye lack of continuity. But anyway. Je m'en fiche. So, the houses that Pete's looked at, more or less rode out. We have been to look at some other properties for him today, which I'll show you. But funny story. So I walk into the airport to go and see whether my mate Angus was also flying that day to see whether he was there. He wasn't. But then a family sat at the table, recognised me from the channel. So if you're watching it, I don't know, hi, I'm sorry that I couldn't talk to you for longer. But what was even funnier was the lady that works in Limoges Airport behind the cafe, she approached Pete and said, am I the bloke off YouTube? And of course he said yes, and she referred to me as Monsieur YouTube. So if you're watching, we've actually spoken before because she did say that the next time I come up to Limoges Airport, she wants to shake my hand. I don't know why, but I will. But we have spoken before. A good few months ago, we went up to Limoges Airport, and this is really early doors when my French was even. Was sparrow, like if it's pigeon French now, it was sparrow French back then. And I wanted the toasted sandwich. And I said, I went to bonjour, je voudrais. And she went, it's okay, I speak English. She went, oh, can I please try? And she went, go on.
I went to Je voudrais un pain grillé avec fromage et jambon. And she went, well, you could have just said croque monsieur. I didn't know I had an egg. So if you're watching, hi. I will come and say hello next time I'm up at Limoges Airport. Now, this video is really getting on. And so I would normally record today and tomorrow. That would take it way into 45 minutes long, which I'm not going to do. So I've done some recording today, and I'll do some recording of what we get on tomorrow, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'll put it into all on Wednesday's video. So thanks all for watching. If you've got any questions for Pete, ask them down in the comments below, please. He is really keen on moving over to France and getting integrated into the French culture, as is his wife, Gemma. They will be welcome to France, I am 100% certain. So, laters.